Hi, I'm David Harrington. Today on another Turkstra's Tips and Tricks, we're going to be talking about how to use a caulking gun and apply caulking. So we'll go over the main types of caulking, what the different uses are for the types of caulking that are available. Then we'll get into how to use a caulking gun and how to apply the caulking. So generally there are three main types of caulking. There's silicone, there's acrylic, which is often referred to as painter's caulking, and butyl, or rubber. The first caulking we're going to talk about is the acrylic latex. This is going to be more of an interior caulking. It's not going to work well in areas that are prone to be wet. This is going to be more for, trim, windows, doors, other interior around the house needs, although it can be used outdoors as long as it's not going to get wet. The good thing about this is it comes in a variety of colors. You can color match it. Also, it's paintable, which is great. The other great feature of this is it's a soap and water cleanup. That's a really great feature as well. The second general type of caulking we're going to talk about is silicone caulking, like this. Now, this is going to be used in areas prone to be wet, like kitchens, bathrooms, things like that. The reason is because it's silicone based, it stays kind of rubbery, and it holds its flexibility. Also, it's going to be mold resistant. However, because of that, it's not really paintable. You can paint it, but it will tend to flake off eventually. And also with the silicone caulking is you need a solvent to clean it up. The third general type of caulking is going to be butyl. This is primarily going to be used to fill cracks in concrete, brick, asphalt, things like that. It can also be used being applied to metal surfaces. It can be painted. However, it also is going to be a solvent-based cleanup. So the first, and in my opinion, most important thing about using caulking is cutting the tip on the end of the caulking. It's very important not to cut it too big or too small. Most mistakes people will make is cutting the tip too big, and too much caulking is going to come out. It's going to be messy, it's going to be wasteful. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you exactly the right way to cut the tip. So you're going to want to cut the tip of the caulking off about 1/4 of an inch up. Now if you're kind of wondering or worried about how much to cut, definitely cut too small to start, because you can always cut it bigger if you don't need to. So just take your knife and cut, also importantly, on a 45-degree angle, about 1/4 of an inch off the end. Now you're going to be left with a really nice tip that's 45 degrees. You can take that little burr off of there, and the caulking is going to come out nice and smooth and clean. So next you're going to have to pierce the seal, which is inside of the caulking tube itself. You can't just put the caulking in and start using it. There's a seal in here. And to do that, you take your caulking gun, and there's going to be a little rod attached to it at some position, usually near the front. And all you do is you take that, put it into the tube itself, and just press. And you'll see caulking is on that little rod now, and now it's pierced and ready to use. At this point, you're also probably going to realize that using caulking is very messy. So you're definitely going to want to always keep a wet rag around that you can wipe everything clean with. You want to have clean hands, clean equipment to use caulking effectively. So now we're ready to insert the caulking tube into the caulking gun. So we just squeeze the lever on the back, pull the arm all the way out, insert the tube, and then start pumping the handle until it's just snug and holds the tube in. Now, one thing you don't want to do is keep pressure on the tube. You can buy what are called dripless caulking guns, and that's going to release the pressure, but you'll find as you're using the caulking gun and squeezing the caulking out, if you set it down and leave it, the caulking is going to continue to run out. To avoid that, you just push the lever on the back after every use, and it will release the pressure and keep the caulking from coming out. So now we're ready to apply caulking to our surface. So what you're going to want to do is remember that you cut that 45. So you want that 45-degree angle to sit against the groove that you're going to be filling. You can also draw what would you call an orientation line on the end of your caulking. So that way if you're going one direction and then you come around a corner and you switch directions, you just can quickly turn the tube to point the way you need it to be. So now that we're ready to apply it, all you want to do is just slowly kind of draw your caulking gun across, and that's going to make an even bead. So we'll go ahead and do that now. So take your caulking gun, place it at the edge of the groove, and slowly draw the caulking gun towards you while squeezing the trigger evenly to create a nice even bead. Now remember, when you get to the end, press that lever to release the pressure, And now what you want to do with a wet finger, ideally, is run your finger along the caulking that you just placed and squeeze it into the groove. And what you've got here is a nice caulking bead. That looks great. So again, just make sure the tip, the 45-degree angle, is the right way, and just a smooth squeeze of the trigger and draw the caulking gun towards yourself. That's going to be the easiest way. You'll get a nice, perfect bead of caulking. And again, remember to release that button at the end. And then, like I say, keep your wet rag around if you don't want to keep licking your finger. And smooth out that bead of caulking into that groove. And that's perfect. So remember, all the tools and equipment required for all your caulking needs are available at Turkstra Lumber. And if you have any questions about any projects you may be working on, definitely check out build-it-better.ca. That's build-it-better.ca for a free project coach that will help you with all your projects. You'll have access to all of the industry pros, free shipping, and a lot of monthly deals. And like always, guys, the more you build, the better you get. So keep up the good work.